Throughout the early ages of Arda, great spiders plagued the lands, often serving the darkness enemies to the children of Iluvatar. It is said the first of their kind were once Umaiar spirits, who turned against the light, following Melkor and taking the form of large arachnids, whom the elves would call Umaiar spiders, or demon spiders. Though they are said to have served Melkor in his struggles against the Valar, nothing more of them is known, and their ultimate fate remains a mystery. The most well-known of all the great spiders, and mother to many of their kind, was the Ungoliant, who allied with Melkor in destroying the two trees of Valinor, plunging Aman into darkness. Many believe Ungoliant to be one of, and perhaps greatest of the Umaiar, a fallen Maiar spirit, corrupted to the evils of Melkor, taking spider form upon her descent into Arda. Yet not all agree with this assessment. Some believe she is in fact something different, a creature of darkness and shadow taken spider form. Described as having descended from the darkness, some have come to believe Ungoliant was a primordial evil, a physical representation of the darkness woven into the song of the Ainur by Melkor in the Timeless Halls, and that perhaps she stands as an opposite to Tom Bombadil, who may represent a primordial good, and may be the physical representation of light, and the original purpose of the song of the Ainur. Yet whatever she was, Ungoliant has lived in the world possibly since before the marring of Arda. After the destruction of the two lamps, she fled to the south of Aman, creating her dark lair among the mountains just beyond the immediate reach of the Valar. Years later, after the destruction of the two trees, she would flee with Melkor to Middle-earth, only to turn against him upon their arrival. They fought for possession of the Silmarils, which Melkor had stolen from the elf Feanor, and Ungoliant weaved her dark shadows about him, ready to destroy the first Dark Lord. It was only after his screams alerted the nearby Balrogs, sleeping underneath the ruined fortress of Angband, that Ungoliant was chased away, fleeing south towards Nan Dungortheb. Here she would encounter a race of mortal spiders who inhabited the lands of Ered Gorgoroth. She would mate with them, spawning a race of half-demons called giant spiders, who would spread to the south and eventually come to inhabit the Greenwood, later called Mirkwood. It would be descendants of these giant spiders which the company of Thorin Oakenshield would encounter on their quest to retake their home of Erebor. Ungoliant would continue to travel south until finally leaving Beleriand, all the while mating with mortal and giant spiders, with her immediate children proving larger, stronger, and smarter than their mortal kin or future offspring. The direct descendants of Ungoliant would therefore come to be known as the spawn of Ungoliant, such as the shadow spider, Shelob, who made her home in the mountains surrounding Mordor. Though Ungoliant is believed to have died, devouring herself in an attempt to sate her eternal hunger, her influence would live on in her children, specifically Shelob, who would become the most well-known among them, having nearly killed the ring-bearer Frodo Baggins during the War of the Ring in the Third Age, then battling Samwise Gamgee, who held the sword Sting and the Phial of Galadriel, containing light from the two trees of Valinor. The light caused her enormous suffering, and she eventually received a great wound to her abdomen, causing her to flee in pain. It is unknown whether her wounds would ultimately kill her, but the offspring of Shelob would live on even after the rise of men in the Fourth Age, haunting the Mirkwood forest until they eventually died off.